Hello, just wanted to talk about Obamacare in the context of this weird Uncle Sam gynecologist ad. Uh, I thought it was appropriate because today's October 1st and the exchanges went live today. So I thought I could maybe talk about Obamacare in the context of this really weird ad. So I'm just going to stop it when I have something to say.
Oh, I see you chose to sign up for Obamacare.
Oh, I guess you don't know how Obamacare works because Obamacare isn't a health plan, it's a law. So you would never walk into a clinic and on your medical record it would say your plan as Obamacare because Obamacare is not a fucking plan. She probably has Aetna or Kaiser Permanente or United Healthcare because through Obamacare, we buy private health care plans. Yeah, you remember that free market that the conservatives are always drooling over? Yeah, that's actually what we did with healthcare. It's a conservative idea because previous to Obamacare, individuals almost couldn't comparison shop for healthcare plans. As a nation, we got our healthcare plans through our employers. Employers got to compare prices, and so group rates for employers were significantly lower than just going out and buying an individual plan. That has a lot to do with the risk pool. So, how many people are paying into the risk pool, and how many people are taking money from the risk pool. So, when you have a group of uninsured people who have to go to an emergency room, and the emergency room has to treat them legally in this country, that $20,000 that person just racked up in medical charges, the hospital's not going to eat that charge. I mean, hospitals are one of the most profitable industries in this country. So what hospitals do is they take that $20,000. By the way, definitely not what it actually costs them to treat that person, but that doesn't matter. That's another conversation completely. They take that $20,000 and they spread it out to all the people who are paying into the risk pool. So now people like me who have a healthcare plan, I got to pay for the person who didn't have healthcare. Now it's not really that person's fault because healthcare isn't one of those things that we can really barter for when our leg is fallen off and we're bleeding all over the concrete. You have to get healthcare because we want to live, and so you go. They can't deny you, but instead of finding a system that works, they just make us, the rest of us who have health plans, pay, and that's why healthcare is prohibitively expensive. That's just a little bit of a background here on one of the major problems with healthcare and the problem that Obamacare seeks to address. So again, the idea that she bought Obamacare, complete and utter trashy bullshit. It's not grounded in reality. She went to an exchange, which went live today, by the way, folks, and she comparison shopped for a health plan. And look at that. She's got some health care now.
Yeah, it's actually my first time here.
Yeah, it's her first time because she probably couldn't afford it, because none of us can. Because as individuals, we can't afford health plans. So we need two things. We need competition to lower prices, and some of us need a little bit of help. We need subsidies until those prices start to even out. Funny because that's exactly what the law does. It creates a portal where health plans compete and their prices lower, and then those of us that can't afford those prices, we get subsidies to afford them. And who pays for those subsidies? It's mostly companies that manufacture medical devices pay into an account, and that's where a lot of this money is coming from. Because historically they haven't really had to pay much because of doctors' unions and doctors' lobbies, which also, by the way, set the price for healthcare in this country. I'll say that one more time. The people getting paid set the price. All right, let's continue.
Well, here we are then. Change it to a gown, and the doctor will see you soon.
First of all, I just want to point this out. that you have like I don't know if this was on purpose because I really don't think the people that made this ad are that smart, but I love that you have like the innocent white girl Goldilocks being like led into Obamacare by this sort of like 70s era Black Power looking woman with like the strong afro. I don't know if that was intentional, but if so, it would pretty much be in line with like how the right handles this issue, which is by sort of like having this weird racist undertone on everything. But anyway, I could be reading too much into that.
Okay, your vitals look good. Any changes in your diet or exercise? All right, can you swing on over, scoot on down, and try to make yourself comfortable?
I also like how this doctor could either be Jewish or Latina, but again, definitely not a little white blonde girl. Just saying.
Okay, let's have a look.
I'll just pause it right here because I want you to just read this headline over and over and over again. The funding for this ad was by the Koch brothers, who basically are the financial honeypot of the Tea Party. Yeah, none of those fucking crazy lunatics probably would have been elected if they didn't have millions and millions of dollars to back them up. Anyway, this is a crazy right-wing group that's funding this. You know what else that right-wing group is doing? They're making women who want to get an abortion get medically unnecessary ultrasounds. So in that case, government's kind of playing doctor. They're also closing down abortion clinics or changing the regulations so abortion clinics have to have the same service as like an ambulatory care center, which they don't. So that's kind of like government playing doctor. And they're also telling women they shouldn't get abortions after a certain period of time. And I kind of feel like that's the government playing doctor. So the people who are saying don't let government playing doctor are the only people in government playing doctor. Obamacare has nothing to fucking do with your doctor or the care that you're receiving. In fact, that's a huge criticism. Anyone that understands this law and understands the problems in healthcare would wage, is that Obamacare doesn't do enough. We're dealing with the risk pool and we're dealing with competition in the marketplace. It's a baby step. This is not as sweeping as people make it out to be. As an individual, if you didn't have healthcare before, you can probably afford it now, and you can buy into the risk pool, and the healthcare costs will come down eventually. You'll get a better price now because there's competition. As a company, if you're less than 50 employees, you don't have to do shit, so stop talking about it. If you're a company with over 50 full-time employees, guess what? You whined so much, you don't have to do shit for another year. Who knows what's going to happen next year? But I know one thing. If you have a giant company and you're not giving your employees health care, then you should have to. You really should have to. I mean, all it takes is looking at one graph to see the increase in CEOs' wages versus the increase in the average employee in this country. To see the disparity there. CEOs are making criminal salaries now. You should pay your employees health care because you know what? You didn't get all that money for all the shit that you're doing, okay? It's because the employees are working their ass off. It's because of productivity on the ground. Now, that's a different conversation. But that's not the conversation we're actually having, is it? We're talking about government playing doctor. We're talking about socialism. We're talking about death panels. You guys want to know what the death panels are? That's so Medicare, when they invest in procedures that result in better outcomes or more efficient care or cheaper care, a panel looks at that procedure and says, let's tell everyone about this procedure that saved so much money and time. That's it. It's not someone saying, hey, make sure that person with cancer can't get chemo because we're on a tight budget. No, what party is that again that fucks over the poor and indigent when there's a budget problem? I'm pretty sure it's the same part of the government that's playing doctor. And it's the same part that's misleading everyone on Obamacare. This ad is a fucking joke. It is a goddamn joke, and everyone should be pissed off about this. And it's the reason why there isn't a government running right now. But guess who's still getting paid, folks? Congress is still getting paid. All right.